with one hit.
Wow.
That was an amazing
I am
moment right there.
bird person that follows Nicholas around.
Yeah, you can be an air crook. I'll count. That's kind of racist to count that as not as an animal instead of. I don't know. Okay. Yeah, it is racist. Oh well. Yeah, your bird person was a crane. Yeah, whatever. It's the same thing. Stats wise, it's the same thing. Okay.
So we finally came to the decision there.
Okay, I want to go into this village and do stuff.
Well, let's make our approach, I guess.
So you go through some of the clearings and you're noticing that a lot of the trees are dead and dying and disgusting. And there's where
the people have to have had something to do with the surrounding area.
you are currently at Fort Antonio. So I don't know.
We approach.
Now, who wants to begin? I think you're probably near the tail end, feeling uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
You look up.
I'll be part of the front runner then.
I wish I had orcs that actually had green skin. All of them have this like purple stuff.
Just paint them green.
I don't want to paint them green the only time. Like for the only reason to paint them green. And I don't even have one that I consider look like that.
Place the clear coat that's glow in the dark. Puts a black light above it.
Since your guy looks more like a bugbear and we're just calling him orcs. He's there. He's not that happy. He's there. His arms are tied behind him. It's like in general fixed position, so anyone comes near, they know they have them. He has like a lot of ornate shells and teeth and a necklace around his thing, and he has like a shaved head. Green skin, shaved head, there's orc tusks, and
Is there like a person greeting us?
there will be 2 armed guards there. They're gonna look at them, and they're gonna probably ask who's ahead of them. May I ask your business?
Just passing through and taking a look at some shops maybe around town.
It's not a town, it's actually just a fort.
Oh.
It's a military fort where they would have some guards and shops. Say, like, we could probably sell and trade some common goods, food, provisions, stuff of that nature. Look around and look at you. It's like, it's a pretty big turkey.
I keeping myself silent for now. I'm just following Nicholas now.
Erica, bro. You won't be of any trouble.
There or what?
Make it sound normal. Say I'm a giant turkey. Agree with him.
Do you say this?
Say something. I'm not saying anything, but say something. Like, I'm kind of like whispered into your ear without trying to make him not know. Like, hey, make it sound normal.
The Birdman.
No.
He'd be like, oh, okay. We don't see many of them in these parts. So you guys will go inside the fort. Well, there's stuff in there, but just not really good to see. And the fort. It's controlled by a mad wizard. You're all dead. No, okay.
The electric shock.
You go in, and there will be whispers of the guards surrounding this fort. Like, there's a stable on the outside, and there's a weaponry area, and a sleeping quarters, and a mess hall, kind of around this octagon shape. And coming down from up top, there will be a man that greets you saying, "I'm the captain of this fort. Good to see people still venturing out this far. Can I ask you if you've seen anything strange lately?"
I'm not saying anything. I'm trying to keep myself silent.
Anything I'm particularly looking for?
Not too smart.
Any signs of orcs?
As of work activity, I am not too sure, but I guess it would be worth noting that I've seen lit torches in the night.
I'm gonna say that was some of our garbage coming back in. That was a pretty bad storm. Hope you fare good through it all.
I try to whisper.
Fared better than expected.
I tried to whisper to Nicholas without him noticing, like, ask about the trees, like, do you know what happened here?
Out of curiosity, for curiosity's sake, I can't help but notice that the trees around here are quite dead.
So, that's been going on for a while. Since the swampland, a lot of our water's drying up. A lot of the forest is beginning to become nothing more than kindling, to be honest. It's quite sad. So it's kind of dangerous to cast a fireball out in the woods, if you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm. I can see what you mean.
So you sure you haven't seen any orcs? I mean, we got one of the chieftain's sons who was hoping that they would send some sort of raiding party and maybe slip up. Since those disgusting creatures.
Sweat.
He would look at you and says, "What's wrong with that?" He says, "You know they eat their own kind. They're cannibals out there." You grab a sack and throw it at your feet. Look.
I open them.
You see there, and you see like orc children skull. It says, "We found that out in the woods." He says, "What else is eating them?" He says, "They're cannibals out there. Why should we treat them with any sort of decency?"
I'm just trying to think.
Well, to be fair, not all orcs can be all savages, can they?
In my mind, I'm thinking like, that's probably your own men killing them. In my head.
You would sit there and actually see like there are teeth marks in the bone. Something is.
Something had gotten to it.
Yeah. Since we found that where we found him.
Of course,
Maybe it was a
something
miscarriage.
killed it.
Maybe it was a miscarriage.
That's a bizarre miscarriage.
You can say
I'm just
that.
going to ultimately say it could have been really anything, but nothing's left to. Everything's left to speculation, I guess.
You can say you're welcome to stay around here for a little bit. Says if you go out there and you happen to spot their little village out there, he says we'll pay handsomely for you to tell us where. We're tired of them raiding our farms.
Sounds like trouble.
He would nod. He would look at you and actually notice the signet ring that you have.
Oh yeah.
There.
Wait, that's the. What does that do again?
It's a. What was it? Ranger Wade. Not Wade. It was Wake. Yeah.
See that there,
Ranger.
friendly towards me, right?
Yeah, he says, "Good man, he must have vouched for you." He says, "We're not always kind to strangers, but if you're good to him, you're good with us." He says, "We haven't actually heard word from Docktown lately. You haven't came from there, have you?"
I would kind of give a glance to the witch and see her response to this, like, silent response, if we should, like, is she kind of frightened at that?
She doesn't like that idea. She doesn't like the idea of saying what's going on there.
I mean, say that we were there, but a while back. We've been traveling on these parts for a while.
What could have? I would be like, what could have happened? We've been there once.
Yay. Yep, and we're back. After one pizza order later.
Okay.
Backwards into the glass. Okay. So he's there, and they're pretty fine with you. You guys want to buy food stuffs?
I want some healing items, of course.
I'll see her wares.
Mainly food things and sleeping bags. Maybe a tent. There might be some damaged weapons to buy. You say healing items. You can find a guy, and he says because they barely actually see any combat, he will sell you a spare healing potion.
Well, I'm
for
gonna
40
see
gold
if he can
pieces.
speak for me because I'm trying to keep it secret that I
Oh.
can actually talk
Well,
for now.
Says maybe he has a surplus of about 3 healing potions that he can give away for maybe 120 gold pieces.
For all 3?
3 different ones, yeah. So it'd be like 40 per.
So for the...
Says they ration them out, and he rarely ever goes and does anything
Was
dangerous.
it? How much again?
3 health potions.
120,
All for just 100.
40 for each.
I would like to buy 2, so 80.
2, yeah.
And I'll get 1 then.
I actually just silently, no words.
Back of holding it.
Yes, like it's a super tiny little penny bag. Open it, and then just a bunch of gold pieces.
He looks at it wide-eyed and like, oh yeah, and hands you guys your potions. So you subtract your 80, you subtract your 40, since you've made all that money. And I haven't really made healing potions a regular thing when I probably should.
Okay.
I don't remember off the top of my head what they do, what the healing thing is. Probably not.
Do I catch anything
Invisible.
with the monocle?
I was about to ask you if you see anything.
No, and even with your magic, you don't seem to hint at a lot of it. Like, they don't have magic equipment.
Alright,
They
so
don't
it's
seem to
just-
be as well stocked as the clowns did.
So they don't seem to be as equipped. Alright, that's interesting.
I'm gonna secretly like whisper towards the witch lady I'm gonna ask. So, could you teach me a little bit of magic, like simple ones? Just teach me on your own terms
Are you
whenever.
sure that's an appropriate time for that question?
I'm just whispering.
She would go to you and say, I don't know if our magical schools are applicable.
What?
Your
Don't know if
magic-
it applies.
What?
Like you as a druid and her as a witch.
I
Doesn't
might be
think
more
it would
fitting
matter.
since I come from the school of like polymorph.
Well, I would like
Transformation.
NPC, so I can learn some new stuff.
I'm not for sure if that's even like mechanically how druids do the thing.
You might have.
I would have to
Find out.
personally. I will personally have to look and see what spells overlap.
I'll get a wood log and call it, okay, this is the way that I can do it. Write it down, the curve, a wood log thing, and do my magic that way.
You would
and
whittle
can
a
do your
log.
way, and you teach me something, and I try it.
Whittle a stick or a
Okay. She'd say she could teach you some magic. She says she really wants to go to that school to learn magic more formally. So she won't be able to teach you very advanced magic. She will try. It's an out-of-game trace. I would have to look into it.
Okay.
Or you'll have to multi-class. Which it kind of
Would make it more complicated.
complicated, but it'll make you have to spend like an entire level up to multi-class.
Yeah.
But I'll see if there's any spells that really overlap that sound druidy, and see if she could.
Alright. I was still continue like to look at their odds and ends. Like typically you say they have like the rations or whatnot.
They have food rations because they're closer to the farms than the town was. So there's a lot of food. There'd be stuff that would be like common goods, kerosene. If you want to use like a grease bomb, the whole grease thing, you could buy one of those. They have weapons, but none of them are magic. No +1.
What kind of weapons do they even have?
Mainly spears and short swords.
Spears and short swords.
Possibly a crossbow.
Doesn't really sound like my style, to be honest.
Yeah.
But like kerosene, how much does that go for?
For a container, which would be like a glass jar, you could throw down about 20. They can give one couple away for 20 each.
Hey.
So just like how many for like 20?
One for 20.
One
so
for 20.
Yeah.
I'll just get one.
With my little blow dart that can come back to me.
Yeah.
I'm just curious. What is that made of? What would you say? Like wood?
I would say it was actually made out of bone. You as a druid, knowing the animals of the forest, it may be similar to something called a displacer beast, and it's made out of its bone. That might trigger you as an interesting monster that can blink in and out of dimension.
That's how it can come back to me.
Yes.
That's cool. Well,
do they have any empty jars? Just straight up empty anything?
There would probably be some clay jar, maybe glass vials in a corner.
I'm thinking Molotov.
How much for the glass jars?
You gotta think this
Okay.
woods around here
You would
is
shrug and say you
dry.
could take one.
This is dry
Alright, I'll
wood.
just take a glass jar.
Dry wood. Remember that. This is dry wood area.
You within the woods will notice that you don't feel that same sort of connection to your forest spirit as you would normally in the woods.
That explains now because I was, before I knew it was dry, I was trying to say, I can feel his presence. Now I don't. Never mind.
Maybe around the border, but the more you get into it,
Mhm.
it seems like
Alright.
something is uncomfortable.
How long does your transformation last then?
I don't know.
Indefinitely?
We might
Until I
want-
get beat up?
We might want
No, like how long?
to not stay
You said
I don't know.
hour.
I actually gotta go see, not Monster Manual. It's the player's guide that will tell me that. See, I don't play ever, so I don't know much about classes. Kind of determine
my
you guys.
other one lasted a while. My other ones.
We kind of have just been like, until he gets beat up. I guess it would be nice to know the official ruling on it.
And then you as the dungeon master would. You can bend the rules. As you please.
Well, I did not know that your wild shape lets you also do something else.
Oh, what? I would like to know.
You can spend spell slots to regain health. While transforming, you can spend them, and you'll gain a D8 times the amount of levels of the spell slot. And I think you got like what, level 2 and level 1.
Yeah.
If you expel it as a level 2, you'll like regain 2d8. I didn't know.
So
that.
I would use my.
You transform, and then you can also regain health. In the
You act like I
transformation.
use a
have
magical
enough.
item.
Pretty much like you heal, but it takes your spell slots.
Yeah, like you use that one. Can't use that anymore for a little while until you rest.
I'm trying to find. No, you have rested. That means you regained your spells. I don't know how many you're supposed to expend at what level. I expect that to be kept. I'm trying to find that transformation. Let's see what wild shape.
down to a crack. That.
I don't see any time limit. You would transform out of it if that hit 0 HP.
So there's no time? I guess for him it's a time because he's not druid.
Here's something that we've been messing up then.
Hmm?
You can't cast spells while transformed. Now, have you been casting spells while transformed? Because I think you
Nah,
haven't.
I think I haven't been.
Not that much.
If I did, it was
Right.
once or twice.
Invisibility, maybe, but
Mm-hmm.
you may have just cast
Invisibility as a rat. Yeah, that's
You could have always cast invisibility before.
with
there
my
was
dagger.
nothing- The dagger with the dagger as we
Run
rated
around,
was
yeah.
pretty messed up. Yeah.
Run around with dagger in my mouth.
Other than that, I don't see a time limit. It's just if you ever. Okay, let me see. For example, okay, yeah, if you hit 0 HP as your in your creature form, which I don't remember how much HP that bird thing had, you would we'll probably just go off those stats, but you look like an Aarakocra. You would transform, and then anything that went over it would go to your regular HP. But other than that, you can be that for as long as you want. Except for you only regain the ability to use it after a long rest, and you have. So. It's just your first time doing that.
For all I know, you aren't even really an orc in the first place. Maybe you were human.
I was
That would explain a lot.
I was transformationed all along.
You were transformed this whole time.
I cursed
Maybe
from
I
my
wasn't
back.
human this entire time.
Dun, dun.
That'd be weird.
Pull some Shrek stuff.
Folsom.
In the
Yeah.
daytime, I'm
I'm a beautiful orc.
but at the night, I'm a human.
I'm a wretched human.
Yeah, I'm a rat. Oh.
Okay.
Alright, so I know we have to get a move on to the school as well, where she wanted to be.
I'm
Our good friend
gonna
wanted
just
to.
go ahead and whisper to you. I think I'm going to leave this building and like sit out front waiting on you. All right?
I'll check up with the witch if she has anything like interest in any of the wares. Like if anything strikes her fancy, or should we probably get going at this point?
I'm out.
She would say I'm perfectly fine.
I'm
If you would
gonna
like to leave this establishment.
talk to the guards. Actually, speak for once.
Speak for once.
Yes.
Oh, it speaks.
I'm gonna say. So this is all you're doing, sitting around out here?
We'll wait and see if they take the bait.
Ah.
And point up at the orc. The orc looks down at you.
Alright, so he's the bait.
This has to be really confusing visually, considering I have my eye with a monocle and the other eye out in the open, seeing you. Seeing your orc self and then seeing your Cobra self.
Yeah, that
at the
was
same time.
confusing.
It's like I'm getting double vision or something.
Double vision. So, while I was traveling, I found this really cool stick, and I show him, and I just by the sleight of hand, just only reveals
Like a
head
ma-
become real, like a snake. I'm like, isn't
Like a
this
magic
cool?
trick?
Yes, like showing off.
They'd be like, whoa.
Yeah.
And I
It's
guess
insane.
me and her are heading out of the building as well, and we're going. Our plan is to start making our way to school now. Like to begin our trek towards the school more and more until we're there.
I'm gonna actually, but does this come naturally to me since I'm a druid, speaking with animals, or no?
It is a spell you would have to cast.
I'm going to test out the intelligence of Nicholas's animal. So
So are
we're
you
all
guys
out.
leaving? You leaving
Yeah.
this whole thing?
Poison spray. speak with animal, and this is a level 1 spell.
Mm-hmm.
Does it require anything for you to have?
Is there components?
I don't think so.
I don't know what the abbreviations of some
Components are just verbal and semantic, which means you have to speak and you have to move your hands. If you're tied up, you cannot cast it.
Okay, then I will speak with animal
Mm-hmm.
and see if he can even respond.
like my creature,
Mhm.
a familiar.
Okay, you're going to go ahead and cast that, right?
Mm-hmm.
I want you to roll a 20-sided dice.
Oh dear.
19.
You feel an intense pain in your head.
Oh
Like
dang.
that little blood seeps out of your nose.
I'm still bird. I'm like,
And you have a vision of like a large insect-like thing and these like clawed feet or something in the air. And
Baba
it flashes
Yaga's
away.
house?
Yeah, it flashes
Baba
away.
Yaga's
So
house?
this insect-like thing, it's like claws. You hear a clicking noise.
I'm gonna say there's something wrong with your pet, mister. I don't know if we should trust this thing. Just me being me, I just
Based
have...
on my research, these things are generally docile.
I
This one's
explained-
It's just eating grass.
I
This one's-
explained detail to him what I just saw when speaking to him.
Maybe it has otherworldly properties. For all you know, maybe it was looking into the future.
Oh dear. Oh dear.
And I think about what I just said.
Oh,
Curls
wait.
up and falls asleep.
If there's something wrong with that thing, you need to undo what you've done.
I can't put it back in my mouth.
Eat it.
I don't think you would be happy about that.
Then let's move on. So we're leaving there. Could we see the map for a sec?
Find the map. Yeah, pull out the map. Find the map.
So, it looks like we're over there, so we need to go there. So, we're going to traverse...
So we're
Traverse
somewhere
this
around
way.
there.
Do you
Yeah.
want to go through the central area? Do you want to try to keep and hug where, like, what would have been coastline?
I don't like the idea of hugging the coastline.
yeah, what if we would fall, but... I'd say let's go through, like, the central area and try to make our way through there.
I'm feeling between these mountains, orcs are going to stop us there. Because that is a vantage point right there.
This
Sniper,
is a bridge
sniper.
stop. Wear your wares.
Sniper, sniper.
Pay the toll. 1 tooth. Correction, 5 tooth.
I need five DNA. 5 DNA.
I need arm. I need you to detach arm and show me arm.
Give us food. No plant. No crop.
No green.
Okay.
I doubt you have green anyway.
Give me the dice.
Oh, the weather dice.
I'm going to roll for weather. You guys got your most extreme things.
I should probably write
I have
that
an
down.
extreme and a docile weather. He has
I got mine.
fog.
Okay. So you begin walking, maybe 2 hours into walking through the woods, keeping track of things.
I'm going to turn back to normal when we're far away
Okay.
enough from the place.
So about like 20 minutes in, I guess you transform back to normal.
Then a fog rolls in. And off in the distance you see this large tree that has been fallen over like in a formation. Kind of, you can see it over, clearly, enough distance to make a judgment call on things. While you're walking, maybe you hear a stick break and you turn around, you and your buddy, to see.
Oh dear. You're looking into the book, so it's serious. It's not no human. All I know.
You see creature like that, a chawanga,
Chewonga.
No,
It is a little shadowy looking thing with a mask for a face with different dots to make it kind of eyes
I'm
and
guessing.
stuff.
It kind of
And he is mimicking your walking pattern, and he has not noticed that you have turned, and he bumps into your leg.
I want to tell you something. You told me about those. That's a sign of healthy forest. I'm going to assume I already know that because
Sign of healthy
my
forest.
right, isn't it?
I don't think so.
Well, I'm gonna turn around and see what he's looking at and see that. See if I can even see it because he has that monocle.
You can see it, and you may actually see more than he does due to your druid nature.
Ooh.
There's at least 2 others in the background that wasn't as brave as this one that's just bumped into his leg.
I think we are followed. I don't know where to be scared.
I say, I'm guessing we shouldn't be. There's 2 more. I see it. You probably can't see it, but I do see 2 more.
So.
1 sec. I have a bag of beans, and I pull out 1 bean and give it to him. See if he wants it. That one that just bumped into his leg.
He looks at it, and he will take it, and so will another one come up.
Oh, you want another bean?
How many beans do you have left?
I don't know. It's a
8.
bag of beans. Oh, I have 8.
So make that 7 now.
Take the beans.
Another one want a bean? Just a
No,
one.
the other one's too scared to actually go, or maybe doesn't know what is in your hand.
So, the other one wants it. That just walked up to me.
So
Okay.
you lost 2.
Curious little creatures, I would definitely say.
We'll hold it up and kind of make an expression of joy spinning around with it.
They like the beans.
I'll take out like a piece of like the fishing tackle to see if they have a similar response to something like that.
Fishing tackle?
Yeah,
They wouldn't respond to any of it.
I guess they might respond to the leafy green. I don't know if these guys are a good thing or a bad thing, but I guess we should press forward. Do you have any ideas of what these things are, Diastolich?
It says, I think they're nature spirits.
Nature spirits.
It says they like to play tricks.
Oh, mischievous.
Cat will jump out of her arms and chase one.
Oh dear.
Then it would run into a tree and then like phase into it.
Shoom.
And the cat will smack its head against the tree and paw at the tree.
So little creatures of mischief. They seem harmless enough. I wonder if they've really been documented before. And I remember I still have that painting where I made the sketch of the Sphinx on the back.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go ahead and make a sketch of these creatures as well.
You'll have to probably get one from the distance because the cat's current. She'll grab her cat and be like, "Oh, Mr. Whiskers, stop."
I mean, from what I've seen of them, I would see...
The one that was far off in the distance will actually come up looking at your sketching pad.
Looking at the sketch pad, painting.
Please don't take it. It's like, whoa, look, you did it.
The other one posing.
That was your own posing?
Yes.
This is going to remind me of Pikmin. How some of them just sit around and do a pose.
Mm-hmm.
After you're done sketching, I think I'm going to tell these little guys, well, we're going to go towards, try to explain which direction we're going, and ask, is there a safer route? And see if they might know what I'm saying.
Or will they play a trick on us?
The other one will just shake its, what you would consider its head. I want you to roll a 20-sided dice.
Oh boy.
He takes your painting.
That's a
14.
14. What are we rolling for?
Your hands feel affirmative noise come from the one looking at your sketch. You have currently got a charm on you that allows you to cast this spell. Now there's a limited amount of that spell that you can use. I'm not going to tell you how many times you can use it.
Well, I think I've just been blessed.
But it gave you support for possible trouble here on out.
So what was it called?
Well,
Sketch
I'll
of a
kind of-
Sphinx. And
It is a Chawanga. I'll let you copy it out of the book.
I'm surprised they're not like concerned that I'm an orc. Like, these guys burned down my place.
Here's the thing, they're nature spirits, and they live where the orcs live. Why are they not concerned about the orc?
Maybe we're not the ones that...
I've seen these creatures, I think, in a game called Reckoning. Except they were like huge. No, wait, they were called something else, but they were like wooden creatures.
A part
Sweet
of
guys,
your
yeah.
little castle fell out.
That's a part of my computer that's falling apart. Oh. Put your weight down.
Wait a minute. And I'm gonna keep a list of the sketches that I make on the back of this. I don't know how much room I have left to put the Sphinx in that.
Let's say you got paper at the place.
Oh, paper.
Yeah, you bought paper. Like erase one gold and you got paper. Enough paper for the whole world. Enough paper that the Lord of Forests was mad. You bought paper. You went to Office Max. You bought paper.
Mad. So, we're heading along the way, right? I'm going to occasionally glance back and see if they're still following.
Now the mist obscures them, and off in the distance you see glowing lights.
Glowing?
Like little flashes, like...
Possibly, like, they act like dragonflies, fireflies, but clearly are too big to be fireflies. Is it something going through the forest and the trees obscuring them so it looks like a flash? Who knows? An ominous wind blows, pointing you towards the large fallen tree.
I'm going to head towards it.
You'll take it as like an omen to change it. Large fallen tree.
And you eventually go into a clearing where you're at a higher point because of some rocks than field, and you see this. Actually, because of things, let me just do this. Because I think you will be interested in what I have to say. I'll just throw that down. We're up in like a rock cropping here. Yes, nice show of my back, everybody, right? Woo! Cold. Good.
Don't worry, it's just a transition.
It's just a thing I got added. Let's see what I got in here. Find another dead tree, and some other dead tree, and a whole bunch of dead trees, 'cause something didn't go right. Creepy enough.
It really is setting the mood with the fog.
And the fog that sucks 'cause of perspective.
Obscuring
Obscuring your shots. Say you're near the rocks.
So you said you saw like glowing? Do we
Yes.
see it as well?
From the distance, you do see some form of glowing light.
People?
What is a concern is you recognize some sort of image carved in that tree that represents the Lord of Forests.
I'm gonna run towards that and look more closer.
You hear a cackling as you look towards it, and you see like blood smeared against the wood in there, and what looks like carrion, like dead something.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think we should?
That I wouldn't think the Lord of Forest would like that. It's a nature spirit. It doesn't want anything to really die. Besides people destroying the forest.
Maybe it's a sign of aggravation, like something that someone else is doing to aggravate those who follow your great spirit.
I asked out loud.
This is totally out of game.
I asked out loud. Who's cackling? Who's laughing? Who did this?
Cackling?
Yes, I heard cackling. Are you coming up with me or?
I'm taking a slower approach to this. I have a bad feeling about this. Does she follow?
No, she is behind a rock. She's scared. She's squishy. You hear...
Not something we have in common, I guess.
All wizards have that in common.
Not exactly the buffest, but we do have tricks up our sleeves.
Trying to make sure that I'm actually reading these stats right, because they look trash.